I walked into the lavish glass doors of my own high-end luxury store, Valencia and Company, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and anticipation. Dressed in a plain blouse and slacks, worlds apart from the designer gowns I usually wore, I looked like just another hopeful retail associate in need of a job. Nobody could recognize me. Nobody would ever suspect that Vanessa Langford, the billionaire CEO of Valencia and Company, was about to walk into my own empire undercover.
Why?
Because I needed to see the truth with my own eyes. For months, whispers had reached my ears, complaints from customers about rude staff, unfair treatment, and employees who judged shoppers based on appearances. I couldn't let that happen under my leadership. I needed to see it firsthand. I approached the hiring manager, a woman named Lillian, who scanned me from head to toe with barely concealed disdain. She arched a thin, perfectly plucked brow. "You have sales experience?" I gave her a polite nod. "A few years in retail." That wasn't a lie. I had worked as a sales associate back when I was building my company from scratch. She scoffed, flipping through my fake resume as though it was beneath her.
Fine.
"We're desperate for help, so don't screw it up." The way she spoke made my skin prickle, but I held back, forcing a grateful smile. "Thank you. I won't disappoint you." I had no idea just how much disappointment I was about to uncover. My first day on the sales floor was an eye-opener. The store was bustling with well-dressed customers, the scent of expensive perfume and polished leather filling the air. The other sales associates, all in their sleek designer uniforms, barely acknowledged me. It didn't take long for me to realize the pecking order. The employees treated well-dressed customers like royalty, practically tripping over themselves to serve them. But anyone who looked even remotely modest? Ignored. Or worse, mistreated. A woman walked in, wearing simple clothes but with a kind face. The moment she stepped near the jewelry section, a senior saleswoman, Claudia, rolled her eyes. "I'll handle this," she muttered, striding over with a fake smile. But instead of helping, she sneered. "That's a very expensive collection, ma'am. Are you sure you're in the right store?" The woman looked hurt, then quietly left. I clenched my fists. This is what had been happening. This is how they treated potential customers? But I didn't have time to dwell on it before the true nightmare began, when they started targeting me. I was assigned to the least desirable sections, the back corners of the store, where foot traffic was low. "Just stay out of the way," Claudia snapped at me. "You're not exactly top-tier material." I bit my tongue. If only she knew who I really was. The mistreatment escalated quickly. The senior associates ganged up on me, handing me the worst tasks, cleaning mirrors, organizing stock, even scrubbing the floor when customers weren't around. At lunch, I tried to sit with the group, but they fell silent, exchanging smug looks before one of them sneered. "This table's for senior associates only. Newbies eat over there." I wasn't just being treated as an outsider. I was being humiliated. And that's when I made my decision. I had come here to observe.
But now?
I was going to teach them a lesson they'd never forget. One evening, a woman walked in, late 50s, dressed in plain clothes, but with an air of quiet elegance. She hesitated near the glass cases of diamond necklaces. Claudia smirked. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Yes, I'd like to see that piece." The woman pointed to an exquisite emerald pendant. Claudia snorted. "That's $120,000. Perhaps I can show you something more affordable." The woman blinked, her smile faltering. "I can afford it, right?" Claudia laughed, exchanging a knowing glance with another associate. "Maybe next time, sweetheart." I couldn't take it anymore. I stepped forward, my voice calm but firm. "I'll assist the customer." Claudia scoffed. "You?
Please.
Do you even know what customer service means?" Ignoring her, I turned to the woman and said warmly, "Let's take a closer look at that necklace." I reached into the case and placed the pendant in her hands. Tears welled in the woman's eyes. "It's beautiful." I smiled. "It's a timeless piece, and it would look stunning on you." Claudia laughed, rolling her eyes. "Ugh, pathetic." The woman's lips trembled, but then, without a word, She pulled out a black Amex card and set it on the counter. The room went silent. I smirked as I rang up the purchase, watching the blood drain from Claudia's face. "Would you like that gift wrapped, ma'am?" As I handed the woman her bag, she gave me a knowing look.
Thank you, dear.
It's rare to find kindness in places like this. She turned and left, leaving Claudia standing there, pale and humiliated. That was it. The employees in this store had shown their true colors. And now it was time for me to show mine. The moment that woman left the store, I knew this was my moment. I had seen enough. I had endured enough.
And now?
They were about to see who they had really been messing with. Claudia was still standing there, her mouth slightly open, her face drained of color. The other employees were staring, whispering among themselves. Nobody had expected that woman to drop $120,000 in a blink. And certainly, nobody expected me to be the one to make the sale. I walked past Claudia, feeling the tension in the air like electricity. She suddenly grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "You got lucky," she hissed. "One sale doesn't make you important here." I slowly turned my head, fixing her with an expression so sharp it could cut glass.
Oh, sweetheart.
If only you knew. But I wasn't revealing my identity yet. Not just yet. No, first, I wanted to watch them crumble. That night, I made a call. "Ready?" came the voice on the other end. I smirked. Oh, I'm beyond ready. The next morning, the store was packed. But this time, I had brought guests. Several of my real high-profile clients, millionaires, CEOs, celebrities, walked in, dressed down. Not a single designer label in sight. The game had begun. I watched, arms crossed, as the sales team, the same people who had sneered at me, bullied me, treated me like dirt, immediately dismissed them. A woman in simple jeans and a sweater asked about a rare sapphire bracelet. "You can't afford that," one associate muttered under his breath. A man in a worn-out leather jacket asked about the custom suit collection. Lillian, the hiring manager who barely gave me the time of day, laughed in his face. "Sir, this isn't a thrift store," she sneered. Oh, I was boiling. These people, my employees, were out here treating potential clients like trash just because they didn't look rich enough. I let them dig their own graves. Then I stepped forward.
And dropped the bomb.
I clapped my hands together, the sound ringing through the store. The employees turned confused. "Oh, don't stop now," I said, voice dripping with mock sweetness. "I'd love to hear more about how you think these unimportant customers don't belong in my store." Silence. Stunned, horrified silence. Claudia's face twisted. "W, what are you talking about?" I exhaled slowly, then reached up and unclipped my name tag. The fake one. Then I pulled out my real one, the one with my full name in gold lettering. Vanessa Langford, owner and CEO of Valencia and Company. Gasps rippled through the store. I let the weight of it sink in. Let them feel the slow, creeping horror of realization. "Surprise," I said coolly. "You've all been working under your boss this entire time." Lillian's face turned white. Claudia actually staggered backward. I took a step forward, the power shift sending a shudder through the air. "And let me tell you something," I continued, my voice deadly quiet. "I have never been more disgusted with my own employees than I am right now." The room was dead silent. I let my gaze slowly sweep across the room, locking eyes with each of them, watching them squirm. "You," I pointed at Claudia, "treating customers like they're beneath you? Laughing at them? You are a disgrace to customer service." I turned to Lillian. "And you, judging applicants based on their clothes instead of their skills? I bet you thought you were better than me when I walked in, huh?" She flinched, but I wasn't done. I gestured toward the guests, the same poor-looking customers they had ignored. "These people," I said, my tone turning sharp, "they're millionaires, celebrities, CEOs. Every single one of them could have bought this store twice over." Horror dawned on their faces. The man in the leather jacket? A tech billionaire. The woman in jeans? A world-renowned actress. Each of them had been dismissed, mistreated. And now, The employees who had done it were drowning in shame. I crossed my arms. I have just one question for all of you. Dead silence. I smiled. How does it feel? It was chaos. Claudia begged for forgiveness. I didn't know. Please, I held up a hand. Stop. She went quiet immediately. Then I turned to all of them. You don't get a second chance, I said firmly. All of you? Fired. Panic erupted. Please, Vanessa. I have a family. Lillian pleaded. I narrowed my eyes. Oh? You mean like the families you mocked for not being rich enough to shop here? She paled.
No.
I wasn't forgiving this. Security arrived within minutes. The entire floor watched as my disgraced employees were escorted out of the building, their faces burning with humiliation. And as they left, I stepped up to the register and turned to my guests, the ones they had insulted. With that out of the way, I said warmly, how about I personally help you find whatever you need today? A pause. Then applause. The guests, the real, deserving customers, smiled at me, appreciation in their eyes. Justice had been served. And I had my store back. The next morning, I walked into Valencia and Company as its rightful owner, not a lowly sales associate. The air was crisp with the scent of fresh flowers that had been delivered to the boutique. The employees, the new ones I had carefully selected, greeted me warmly.
But there was still one thing left unfinished.
The aftermath of the firings. The media had exploded with the story. Some news outlets praised me for standing up for fairness. Others called me ruthless for publicly humiliating my own staff. And, of course, my former employees were bitter. Lillian, Claudia, and the others had run to social media, painting themselves as the victims. They claimed I had set them up, that I had been unfair and manipulative. Lillian had even given an interview, tears streaming down her face. I was just doing my job. I never meant to hurt anyone. Claudia sneered on camera. She's just another spoiled billionaire who doesn't understand real struggles. I smirked as I watched the footage. Oh, ladies. You really don't know when to stop, do you? But I wasn't going to waste my time responding to them. No, I had bigger plans. A week later, I stepped onto a national television stage for an exclusive interview. The host leaned forward, eyes gleaming. Vanessa, some people say you were too harsh. That firing them all was an extreme reaction.
What do you say to that?
I tilted my head, giving a calm smile. I say, watch the footage. And right on cue, the giant screen behind me flickered to life. Security camera footage from inside the store. Raw, unedited evidence. Lillian laughing at a man because of his clothes. Claudia sneering at an elderly woman, telling her she wasn't rich enough to shop here. The employees openly mocking customers behind their backs. The audience gasped. The interviewer's jaw tightened. I folded my hands in my lap, perfectly composed. I don't fire people for no reason, I said smoothly. I fire them for mistreating others. And if anyone thinks I was too harsh, I smiled, eyes glinting. Then I invite them to watch this and tell me if they'd want people like that representing their business.
Boom.
The backlash flipped overnight. Suddenly, I wasn't the villain. I was the CEO who refused to let discrimination and cruelty poison my brand. As for my former employees, they went silent. But of course, some people just can't take accountability. A month later, I received legal papers. Lillian and Claudia were suing me. They accused me of wrongful termination and intentional emotional distress. I burst out laughing. Oh, this is going to be fun, I muttered. The trial was public. The moment it started, their lawyer tried to paint me as a cold-hearted, privileged tyrant who set them up. But my lawyer? Oh, he tore them apart. One by one, the customers they had mistreated took the stand. The elderly woman who had been laughed at. The billionaire in disguise. The countless shoppers who had witnessed their cruelty firsthand. By the end of it, the judge looked disgusted. Case dismissed. And Lillian and Claudia?
Broke.
Jobless. And publicly humiliated once again. I had won. But I wasn't done. Firing them wasn't enough. I wanted to make sure that every single person who walked into my store felt respected. So I created a new customer-first initiative. Personalized service. Special training for every employee. Secret shoppers. I even started a philanthropy project, funding small businesses run by hardworking, underprivileged women, women who had been judged just like that elderly customer had been. And the response? Massive. Valencia and Company wasn't just a store anymore. It was a movement. Sales skyrocketed. Customers loved the new environment. And best of all, the employees I hired were genuine, kind, and hardworking, the kind of people who deserved to be there. Oh, but what about Claudia and Lillian? Did they think I was done with them?
No.
I didn't need to destroy them myself. They did that all on their own. Lillian, desperate for work, tried applying at another luxury store. They recognized her immediately. Rejected. She tried applying at mid-tier brands. Rejected. She even tried opening a TikTok to gain sympathy. But all the comments were people calling her out. You deserved it. Karma came for you. Maybe if you treated people better, you'd still have a job. Her life was in ruins. And Claudia? She ended up working in a cheap retail store, making minimum wage. I went shopping there just once. And the look on her face when she saw me, standing there as the customer now? Priceless. I stood in Valencia and Company, watching as my new employees treated every customer with kindness. The store was thriving. Better than ever. I had cleaned house. I had rebuilt my brand. And I had ensured that no one would ever feel unwelcome in my store again. As I walked through the showroom, a young girl approached me. She looked nervous. Ms. Langford. I smiled. Yes. I just wanted to say thank you. I used to be too scared to come in here. I thought I'd be judged. But now, she smiled brightly. I feel like I actually belong. I felt something warm bloom in my chest. This was what power was meant for. I patted her shoulder and smiled. You always belong here. And with that, I walked away. Not just as a CEO, but as a woman who had won the ultimate battle, not just against my enemies, but for the people who deserved better.